Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast update for the Western U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, first, looking at the temperatures here, we got another round of cold air spilling in across the central and northern Rockies, making its way into the Midwest right now. Temperatures in the teens and 20s. A little bit warmer as you climb your way up the coast, 40s and 50s as you make your way from Southern California into Northern California, up the coast into the Pacific Northwest. We'll look at the satellite picture here, infrared satellite picture. All the bright cloud tops here you see from British Columbia down across the Pacific Northwest into Northern California. Our big coastal storm here, a lot of precipitation, heavy rainfall, heavy snow across the higher elevations, and the good news is we are going to continue this at least off and on over the next 5 to 7 days. Plenty of opportunities for additional precipitation from Northern California up the coast, and then heavy snow in the higher elevations back across the central and northern Rockies. The radar picture here early Friday morning, again, a lot of heavy precipitation across western Washington, western Oregon, snow beginning to fall in the Cascades, and then you make your way down into Northern California. We've got some precipitation falling in that area as well. Now, as we look at the hazards map from the National Weather Service, a myriad of winter colors here across the Pacific Northwest into the Rockies, down into the northern and central Rockies here. The pink shading there, that's winter storm warnings. The kind of lavender shading, that's where we've got winter weather advisories. We've got a smattering of the brown shading there where we're talking about high wind warnings and wind advisories. So windy, heavy precipitation, heavy snow in the higher elevations. A classic coastal storm here as we head through the next 24 to 48 hours. And then again, good news here as we look at the drought monitor. This is the latest update that just came out at the end of this week. And again, we're talking about dumping a lot of precipitation across this region, which again, not great news for folks in the Four Corners region, southern Nevada, getting back into Southern California, where we'll continue to see those drought conditions be exacerbated over the next week. But likely doing some mitigating here across parts of the Northern California into Oregon, northern Nevada here. And then getting into the Snake River region where we've got a little bit of an increasing drought situation as well. So good news, bad news. Good news for the north, bad news for the south as we head through the next 7 days. And here it is in literal form, the next week of precipitation as forecast across the lower 48. Heavy from Northern California, Northern Nevada, Northern Utah northward. Heavy snows, heavy coastal precipitation. But then we are looking at a dry next 7 days across Southern California, eastward into the Four Corners region. Now, what's driving this? Again, very strong coastal flow, very strong jet streak coming across the Pacific Ocean, blasting in across the Pacific Northwest here as we get our weekend started, and this will continue to blast the region with precipitation over the next 12 to 18 hours. We'll then see a series of waves make their way across the Pacific into the region, so this is going to be kind of the off and on nature as we turn on the water, turn it back off here as each of these waves continues to point toward the Pacific Northwest. So this wave is our Friday trouble, and then we've already got another wave knocking on our door here as we get into Saturday night and Sunday. That'll bring another round of Pacific moisture into the region. You see another wave rounding the base of the trough right here as we get into Monday. This one comes ashore as we get into the Monday and Tuesday time frame. And then that low continues to spin off the coast, additional waves rotating around the base of that trough, potentially into the end of the coming work week. The result then, again, we'll look at the precipitable water forecast again, and it's just each wave takes another round of Pacific moisture, bringing it ashore here, keeping the chances for precipitation ongoing as we head through the next 7 days at least. So here's a look at the European model, the precipitation forecast over the next 7 days. Again, as we get started today, heavy coastal rain all the way from Washington down to Northern California with heavy snow in the higher elevations of the Cascades and the Sierras. We'll take it into Friday evening now, getting into Friday night. Saturday morning, we're seeing the precipitation wane, still falling, lighter in nature though, until our next wave makes its way in here Saturday night into Sunday. We see another round of heavier precipitation, coastal rains, higher elevation snows. This one begins to fade as we get into Sunday night, but then again, we get our Monday night into Tuesday wave that comes in here. So again, it's kind of every 2 days or so, we get another round of heavier precipitation with potentially lighter precip lingering in between each wave here as we continue to see Pacific moisture brought ashore. So this is now Tuesday night, getting into Wednesday, seeing that next round of moisture across the region. And then we're getting into an area of lower confidence with some of the specifics as we get into Thursday and Friday, but still the European model bringing another wave in as we get into the end of next week, potentially continuing this precipitation into the 7 to 10 day time frame. So on the left, you've got the total liquid precipitation forecast between now and next Friday, November 20th. On the right, you have the total snow forecast over the same time period. So again, from Northern California up the coast into Washington, we're talking about coastal rains of anywhere from 2 to 6 inches over the next 7 days. And then as we talk about some of the snow in the Sierras, the Cascades, and the Northern Rockies, we're talking about snowfall on the order of 30 to 50 inches here across, again, the Cascades, the Sierras, and then parts of the Northern Rockies, and north of the Sierras, or north of the Snake River region here. Parts of central and northern Idaho still hitting that 20 to 40 inch threshold. And then all the way down into northern Nevada, Utah, getting into western Colorado. We're still talking about multiple inches, if not 6 to 12 inches of snow in some of the higher elevation areas there. So again, good news, bad news. The northern half of the West really going to be stacking it up as far as coastal rain and high elevation snowpack. But then as you head off toward the south, Southern California, into Arizona and New Mexico on the dry side over the next 7 days. We will, again, with each of these waves, see the threat for some high winds. Those winds are rather strong as we get started with our Friday. They'll taper off as this first wave pulls away into the day on Saturday. Saturday not quite so windy across the Pacific Northwest. Another round of strong winds, though, coming ashore Saturday night into Sunday. Those winds could gust anywhere from 30 to 50 miles per hour across the I-5 corridor up the coast into Washington. And then again, just every couple of days as these waves make their way in, we could see rounds of gusty winds across the Pacific Northwest with periods of quieter conditions here in between. Temperature is a bit on the cool side across the west right now, near average to a little bit cooler than average. We'll see a slow warming trend as we head deeper into next week, potentially getting some ridging into at least southern portions of the west. Here are your highs for the day Friday, Saturday, here's Sunday, and then a slow warm up here as we get into Monday and Tuesday. Have a great Friday, a wonderful weekend. Eric will be back to talk to you on Monday morning.